All right, I muted you, Junior, because we was hearing the noise. So we're talking about the community board meeting must be held in a professional and hostile-free um, environment. Any action or behavior that disrupt or interferes with community board 11 business will not be tolerated during any community board 11 meeting and may result in the individual being asked to leave. If the action or behavior continues, this may be considered disturbing the peace, and the appropriate actions authorities may be summoned. So what we're going to do here tonight is to just please repeated, if there's going to be repeated violation by the same person or group of people, actions by the community board will be taken. All public speakers must address the full board or the committee before with any concern. So please, we just ask that we respect each other. And if we have anything to say, we will do things in a proper manner. I respect everybody's opinion and concern. And if there's anything that you want to bring to the meeting, please feel free to do that. But we will try to do things in order and with respect. So we have the review. Can I move forward, Jeremy? All right, so this
Yeah.
is the Sanitation and Environmental Protection Committee meeting. This is June 7, 2022, and we now started at 7:15 p.m. We have here Junior, who is here with me, Junior Campbell, and we're going to start the meeting off. We have the review for January and March, which is online for anyone who would like to read everything that you're missing. And April, we're not up to date as yet with April because of the changes. So I'm hearing some concern. Someone trying to say something? Okay. I'm hearing some concern about the fact that this is a sanitation meeting and we're having someone from the Bronx Borough President office to speak. But tonight we're talking about the Bronx Solid Waste and Advisory Board. And let me hear from Jeremy if we have someone who is going to be here with us tonight.
Oops. Sorry, I guess I'm unmuted, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I don't see anybody from SWAT here. Let me see. I contacted them on Friday to confirm, and they said that they can make it, and I sent them the details.
Wow. I
So
don't know. I don't know.
I just emailed them like 10 minutes ago, asking if they were still coming. I CC Tom on it. So I think that's all I can do at this point.
Right. And we also have some concern, as Robert Press indicated, we're talking about the reconstruction of Pelham Parkway, phase two, contract number HWX 710A update. Um, I don't know, Jeremy, if there's any updates so far. And maybe we can hear from the public and follow up later where we could have the appropriate people to ask this question because everyone concerned is the reconstruction. And we spoke about this is sanitation and the fact that we're talking about these issues, but we need to know what falls under sanitation, as Robert indicated. DEP falls under that. So that is why the last meeting we had someone from DP. We spoke about most of these issues, the garbage, the recycling, and different issues. So Jeremy, we could follow up with that to get the appropriate people to come on to talk about the concerns in the community.
So what I'm sorry, say that again?
We have the young lady who did not want to disclose. I think she want to talk about the reconstruction, if I'm mistaken. Can you repeat it?
I'm sorry. I misspoke. I was just getting off the bus, and I was a little upset because some person feels like they're entitled to disclose other people's identity, which is, I think, a violation
Okay.
of the open meetings law, as well as
Okay.
the code of conduct. But I guess some people have privilege to violate all they can do, while others, like myself, can't do anything at the board. But I'll
Okay,
digress.
but we're not here. We are not here to violate
But I would like
anyone.
to
So
focus more on sanitation issues because, unfortunately, this is the last sanitation committee meeting for the board before it breaks for summer until, I guess, maybe in September. In the meanwhile, we lost one value member, Joanne, and we keep losing value members of the board because we need a new change in leadership. And I think this is something that should be addressed after the summer break, that you definitely need new leadership in the committee board and perhaps new staff. Thank you.
and when you keep saying we need new leadership, what does that mean?
I mean, the upcoming nomination committee, the chair and vice chair on the executive level, Committee Board 11, they've been on the lead. They have not given any new person a chance to lead. They keep saying Committee Board 11 is advisory. Then if it's so advisory, why don't you give someone new a chance to lead this advisory government unit? I just think that continuing the same people and the nomination committee basically self-elected themselves because the chair was the one that appointed the 3 members on the nomination committee, and they nominate him to be vice chair now. I think it's that we need new leadership. I would be really happy to see a woman of color as a chair or vice chair.
Mhm.
It'd be more
Can I ask
reflective.
can I ask this question? Being that is my first time conducting this meeting, Jeremy, is this something that we can discuss separate from this meeting, being that this is sanitation that we're talking about? I understand your concern, but is this something that maybe need to be addressed, separately from this meeting?
Yeah, I mean, I would stick with the review of the minutes for
Thank you.
now. And
Okay.
then you can always get into, I mean, I set aside, so the reason I put the gallery specifically on the agenda is to make sure we call on them. But at the same time, it is nice to provide some sort of order, to accommodate everybody that's present.
Right.
So,
Okay. So, Mr. Press, I know you had some concern, but we don't have the appropriate person tonight to address the issues and concerns that you have.
My issue was, again, I've followed this. I was on the Jerome Park Reservoir Citizens Advisory Committee when they wanted to put the water filtration plant in Jerome Park Reservoir. So I've had dealings with DEP. On Community Board 8, I've had dealings with DDC. This is $139 million project. There was supposed to be a community advisory group. There was one that was set up outside of this board, and then Community Board 11 decided they wanted to stop that advisory group, which they had no authority to because it was not set up through Community Board 11. All right. This project has been filled with lateness, and I will say incompetence by DDC and DEP only. Okay. Unfortunately, they should have been at each district service cabinet meeting. Again, I know what district service cabinet meetings are. I applied to be the district manager of Community Board 8. I was asked to be the district manager of Board 7, which I turned down. And I've been at district service cabinet meetings, so I know how district service cabinet meetings get run. All right. No offense, Jeremy. And Jeremy and I, as a matter of fact, were at one meeting of district service of a community board, with the agencies. So, I'm pretty well versed on what has to happen here. Okay. I also almost got the job as the mayoral appointee to the North boards. So I know a lot about community boards and how they run, Avril. You're doing a fine job. Keep up the good work. You're going to learn. But it's a tough job, and people will be coming at you, unfortunately, with things. But I have nothing to say since the woman is not here to answer them. All right, I don't want to attack you. I don't want to say anything against you. I'm not, pardon me for using the word attack, but question you because I don't think you can come up with the answers, and I know
Absolutely.
Jeremy can.
but one thing that
Okay.
Ms. Rojas did tell me is that, because I asked her about, coming to the meeting, and so she wanted to know what questions people had. So if you do raise questions now, Bob, I know you mentioned some earlier prior to us recording the meeting. You mentioned that again. I will share them with her, and you know, if she hasn't responded to these things or they need addressing, she'll address them.
Okay, so, Mr. Press, if we can have the
Fine.
questions that you would
Fine.
like, that she can come on and maybe the next meeting to answer
You
this
see, this is
question.
what's happening with the city agencies. They want to know the questions first before they answer them. And that's not real. That's not the way it's supposed to be. It seems like that's going to be exposed. All right. That construction between White Plains Road and Boston Road on the main road was done 2 years ago. 48-inch new mains were put in, new main piping was put in. And the road was never fixed. I know that they sometimes won't do it. They'll put plates over it in case they have to go back. But 2 years, I don't think they have to go back. All right. Supposedly on number 3, the 20-inch distribution pipe on from the service road up to Boston Road, across White Plains Road. I don't see that White Plains Road was completely opened up. So they only opened up one little part of White Plains Road that they're working on right now, which would be the west, the west side. I don't see any construction work that has been done on the east side over there. So I don't see how they can be finishing up. They haven't done the construction work. Plus, they had 48-inch pipes that they were putting under there, not 20-inch pipes, as an alternate in case they had to go around the White Plains Road. There is a lot of redundancy, as it's called, put in by DEP, so they can change the flow of the water from one area to another area easily. Now, number 5, let's see. Now, the other question I had for Ms. Rojas was the westbound roadway was reconstructed, and everybody knew that Con Ed was coming through with a new 36-inch gas line from Mount Vernon down to Hunts Point. Yet they redid the street before Con Ed did that gas line. I wanted to know why, and we hear, oh, well, we had to do it by a certain time. Okay, so why couldn't they have Con Edison do their work first? That's one question. And Con Ed left a 6-foot gap across the whole West Side Highway right after Bronxwood Avenue. And that's sinking because there is no concrete foundation. It goes from concrete, open 6 feet of dirt, and then back to concrete. And that's no good because that roadway is going to really come apart over there.
So you're
That's
concerned with Con Ed leaving pipes?
with the Ms. Rojas's consulting, allowing Con Ed to come in after they finished the roadway and opened up the roadway. That's not the way it's supposed to be done on a project like this, because that roadway is going to have to be redone soon. That 6-foot gap is going to sink.
Okay.
All right,
So I
that's
hear,
my
yeah.
concerns. I'm concerned about the community, as well as the tree replacement. That didn't go well either.
The tree replacement? You said the tree replacement.
Yeah. We don't know because we got a plan now how these trees were going to be replaced. We don't know if they were put back according to the plan, and we know that some trees were taken out and other trees were put in because they were over the old 36-inch water main, like that one by the bus stop, which was right over it, was taken out, and nothing is going to go back over there.
And where was that?
By the corner of White Plains Road and Pelham Parkway.
Okay.
There was a big oak tree that was taken out because that was over the old main, the 36-inch main that runs along the parkway. And that's why they finally realized after so many years that we can't put trees under soil. We have to put them under streets where roots can't get to them.
Okay.
All right, so I'll hold it at that.
Okay. So this is some questions that, as you said, they should be here to answer the questions, but they want the question first to come with the answers. So I guess we could see if we can get the question. We just have someone join us from SWAB. Good evening.
Good
Can
evening.
you hear?
Sorry, y'all.
And is this from the Bronx Board President Office, Daryl?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, welcome. And we are glad to have you. I'm Avril Francis, and we have a few community members here who have some questions. And I would open Jeremy. We are joined by Swab. Okay, so
Go ahead.
just to let everyone know, I would allow you to introduce yourself to everyone that's here.
Thank you. Good evening, and my apologies for my tardiness. It's a lot going on with like tenant stuff, and it's a lot happening out in the world today. But my name is Dior Saint Hilaire, and I currently chair the Bronx SWAB. The SWAB stands for Solid Waste Advisory Board. We are appointed by the Borough President's Office, but we also work very closely with DSNY around a lot of waste management initiatives. I like to, anytime I get into spaces and we talk about waste management, I like to say materials management and try to shift us from this idea of waste, because these are materials that actually can be used if we had the habits and infrastructure to support that. So at the Bronx SWAB, we like to think that we focus on environmental justice, but really seeing the future of our city handling materials in a more sustainable way. So we work together with different community boards to really assess what some of the greater concerns are. Different community boards have different things that they like to prioritize. So I'm here today to be able to figure out what that is for CB11, but also trying to, and I need to open it up, and forgive me that I'm a little bit behind. I feel like there was a representative. I got to figure out who it was, and I'll find out in 2.5 seconds when I actually pull up the drive. Actually, I think I did get it that fast. Oh, nope, we do not have a representative for CB11. So perfect. It is empty and vacant. So we usually have a representative from each community board that is usually appointed by the borough president, or you all kind of choose from the community board who represents, who basically be in the community board committee meeting and then be at the SWAB meeting, and we kind of can compare information there. We write testimony on really important legislation around different initiatives or as it relates to waste within the city as well. So that's a little bit about what we do. We actually have a cleanup event coming up in CB5 in a couple of weeks on the 26th, if anybody's like interested in coming out, learning more in person. But that is who we are and what we do in a nutshell. We'd like to grow more and do more work. So, it's really about inspiring folks to come to the work and give their time and really find the thing that they're passionate about to contribute.
So you're saying SWAB have no representative for Board 11?
No.
Okay. Okay. Is there anyone who want to ask a question?
Question, Ms. Francis. How does the solid waste get out of the Bronx? Are they still using the train tracks up by truck or by boat?
All of it. Out of the Bronx, it goes by rail, and it goes upstate north to switch tracks to go down south. So it's a pretty extensive travel and footprint. So a large part of this is around the reduction of waste, so that we can try to start getting away from export.
Right, they use the Metro North tracks, and there was a accident under the Marble houses, I believe, that there was a big spill and closed the tracks for a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So they're still using that system.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
And you say go down south. So will waste go down south?
It goes down south. It actually gets trucked out to New Jersey and is burned. That's one of the issues that we have, is that there's this initiative saying like zero waste. But we're like, hey, you're like claiming zero waste, but you're going and you're burning the trash. So that's not, and it's in an environmental justice community in Newark, New Jersey. So, to just kind of take your trash from one place and to, pollute a neighbor is not quite our idea of sustainability. So, we're pushing back around that as well.
Okay, we have someone with their hand up, RD. Go right ahead, unmute. Your hand is up. RD, you say you don't want to say your name, but your hand is up. Okay. Can you unmute? Okay, can you go ahead? You have a question? Okay, I guess not. If you have a question, your hand is up. Okay, Diana Finch, go right ahead. You have to unmute yourself.
Yes, hi, Dior. I'm Diana Finch from the Bronx Park East Community Association. And I think I've been to some of your SWAB meetings. Judy Desir, who's doing the farmers market.
Yeah, I went on Sunday. It was the first day.
Yeah, I was there too.
Nice.
So some questions that I have are, we had a Salvation Army store in the neighborhood that was very heavily used. You know, both people buying things there and people taking, you know, everything there, including large furniture and appliances, and they closed, and there isn't anything really close by. And I was wondering if that was something that, the nearest ones that take furniture are in Westchester, and you need a car, of course, to get there. So I was wondering if that was something that SWAB looked into. And I was wondering too if you could explain about your cleanup events, like what they are and how you get them to happen in your area if you're interested.
Sure. So there's let me address the first thing around the store. So that's not something that I was aware of or that was brought to my attention. So this is the first time. So this is kind of the point of going to these committee meetings and figuring out what's happening in each community board. So I think that that's something that, you know, it's a very unique thing, but I think it's to be quite honest with you, this is like the piece of legislation that I would think about that's on the floor right now is the Core Act, which is like being able to drop things. And it's saying that like each community board should be able to have like 3 locations per community board. So that is on the docket as far as like trying to make it mandatory to have something that's actually funded by the city as opposed to Salvation Army. But I think my immediate response to that is just like us being able to put together an initiative to try to like inspire a store, whether it's through a worker-owned cooperative. Like we're connected with a lot of like organizations around the city and within the Bronx. So my thinking would be like to just kind of put our heads together, and if it's like a really big demand, to be able to advocate for it, not only with the borough president but with other city agencies, to bring something back to CB11 that feels like it's meeting a need again, you know, with interest expressed. And then the other thing that you asked was about the cleanup event. So this is actually going to be our very first one. So I'm super excited. We've been we just got reinstated last year. And so a lot of our time right now is really about trying to build up the capacity to do the work, making sure that folks are like oriented in a particular way. And I think we're still like folks have been like in and out. And so we're still trying to like get a little bit more of us like a solid unit. We got a good chunk of folks that are there and present and consistent. But I think the goal is, in order to like really get the work done, is to have multiple people, which is what we have now in comparison to before. So this will be our first one coming up on the 26th. So the process that we have, the reason why this event is a cleanup is because that is what they asked for. So that's what we're doing. And we're going to be doing like a pop-up drop-off location because their concern was that the drop-off locations are not convenient or that they don't really have any in CB5. And they're like, we want to drop off our organic waste too, and we don't have anywhere to take it. That's within our community board. So we're like, all right, great. Let's do a pop-up drop-off. Let's like hand out some information, do a cleanup. And so we work with local trash cleanup organizations. And they essentially like put the messages out to their network to be able to bring folks in. We are collaborating with Community Board 5, with their Municipal Services Committee, and kind of just helping with that effort, and working also with Sanitation to be able to get supplies. So it's really just a matter of like connecting the pieces and then just making it happen. So we work together based on the committee's goals, really, and then we then bring it to our committee with our EJ committee, and then we just organize it.
Okay, and before we go any further, can I ask a question?
Mhm.
Diana Finch asks about the Salvation Army. Diana, is that the one on Boston Road you're talking about?
Yes, the one that was next to the Harbor Freight.
Yes, yes, I was very concerned myself, and I'm glad you brought that up. So that's why I figure that was the one you're talking about. Thank you
Right.
so much. Okay. There I think we have Robert Press. I mean,
I'm sorry, I
before
had my
Robert
hand
Press,
raised for a while.
I was getting to you. I was getting to you.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
I said before we get to Robert Press, I said I call your name. You don't want your name to be displayed, so I say RD because that's
It
what's
doesn't make it
shown.
sense anymore not to disclose my name. I was already outed, so everybody knows this is Roxanne Delgado.
Okay, okay,
Thank
all
you.
right. Okay, Roxanne. So we'll let you ask your question. Go right ahead.
I appreciate that, Chair. I'm sorry, my phone froze when someone called me, so unfortunately I dropped the meeting, but I'm back in again. So if you call me, I missed it. My question is to swap. First, to introduce myself, Roxanne Delgado. I will disclose myself. I'm the founder of Friends of Pelham Parkway. We're our environmental and social justice group. The only group that I know of in Community Board 11 that was founded by a woman of color. We were founded in 2017, and we made some progress, but we need to make more, especially in this community. And my question is to Swap is that I heard that the City Council is going to hear a bill next week to mandate a recycling center in each borough. Is that correct? And are they supportive of that initiative? Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, next week, ironically, next Wednesday is my birthday, so it'll be a very interesting time. It'll be the another year that I'll be testifying at a sanitation hearing on my birthday. It's like a long drawn out thing. But the bill is set to, so it's a little bit, you have a little bit, it's like two separate ones that you're speaking to, right? So there's the mandatory organics bill, which says that the entire city would be mandated to have access to curbside compost collection, not just the preferred ones, but like everybody in the city, and we need to figure out how to make that happen. So that's the mandatory organics bill. Then there's the core act, which essentially is saying that each community district needs to have 3 recycling centers, which is what you're speaking to. That's the core act. So it's two different ones, but yes, that is the hearing that's coming up next Wednesday.
Okay, and happy birthday in advance.
Thank you.
Thank you for your response, and hopefully I'll be in attendance at that committee hearing as well. And I'd like to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you. And I'm also really quickly going to put in the chat, there's a link to the what is it called, the Rat Academy training. So we're co-sponsoring it with the Department of Health, and basically what it is it's a training. You can register and just sign up there. It's virtual, but it's a training to help you understand like the habits of rodents so that you can really help us not keep them. So basically it's a whole training that's really to help you understand, like, so for example, I do my work in a community garden. That's where we take our food scraps and process them. And you gotta watch out for burrows. You gotta make sure that like there's no leaking, like there's just things to be mindful of. So we're trying to just make sure more, like a lot of people attend the Rat Academy training so that we all have the awareness and the knowledge. Like, for example, one of the things that I learned in that workshop was that rodents have a greasy body. So where they walk and move, they give a scent, a trail that follows them. So they give the message to other rodents to know where to go for food. So if you
To follow
scrub down
them.
the sidewalks where you are, that's actually one of the ways to throw off the scent and deter them from coming. That was something I was not aware of before that. So it's like little different things like that. So if you can share the link out with the board and just out to the community so folks know, so that they can come and attend, would be great.
So it's called a, it sounds so funny when you hear about rat, but is a training on rat?
It's called Rat Academy.
Rat Academy. Okay. Every day we learning new things. And so, Diane, are you raising your hand to attend the Rat Academy? But let's come back to you because Robert Press was
Sure.
waiting.
No, just was going to say this in the gallery, but it seems apropos now. We're having our monthly meeting tomorrow night, and our featured speaker is Joseph Franklin, who is the Bronx Borough Manager for Pest Control from the Department of Health. And he's going to come speak specifically about rats.
Okay.
And we knew about the Rat Academy, but I don't think any of us have tried it out yet. We might, after he explains everything to us. We might do a special rat academy just for our association. But we're very, very glad that he is coming. And one of the things that he did that we're grateful for is that he asked us to submit the addresses that are problem areas.
Yeah, there's a rat index.
Right, in advance of the meeting. And he said that, he'll like take a look at them all and address them specifically. We have abandoned construction sites, which we think are, make very nice home areas for rats because they're pretty much undisturbed. And
Is that it?
I think so.
Okay. Anything you think of will come back, Dan, but I guess Robert Press was waiting. So
Yes,
we're
I was
gonna
supposed to
hear.
go
We're gonna
before her,
hear.
but
Okay.
fine.
Okay. All right, Robert.
Let me ask you a question about solid waste, okay? Because I know it goes down to Hunts Point. We can see by the trucks because they're marked by each community board, the sanitation trucks. What about the private waste companies that go through community boards? How do you know what private waste comes from a community board?
You don't. And so now we have what's happening now is a commercial waste zone plan is going into effect. So we have a bunch of haulers who are bidding on contracts to be able to win zones so that we don't have a bunch of different sanitation trucks coming in and out of communities. So that is the deadline's coming up, I think, in another couple of weeks for them to submit. And then we'll see what the next step is when the city goes through all of the RFPs that have been submitted. But that's what's changing now for commercial waste are the zones.
Is the cutout for waste management, which is no longer in business and caused a investigation because of the way it was cut out, is that still there?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, thank you.
Because they're not even a part of the
No, they're no longer in business, and it appears certain elected officials are no longer in office because of it.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm very much impressed to hear that we have a Rat Academy. I can't wait to spread this news to my friends that I'm going to the Rat Academy and I want everybody to come with me. Junior, you need to be at the Rat Academy because I mean, everybody's complaining of rats outside. And I just heard Diana said some rats, they're undisturbed.
I will surely come.
Thank you, Junior. See, we have guests already. And the fact that these rats are not disturbed, I could imagine they're making young ones. So, Diana, it might be something that they need to be disturbed. We need to get rid of them.
And those are the things, right? Like if we can identify sites, like that's when we can come in and say, hey, we got to do a cleanup and shake this space up. And you know what I mean? Like these are the things that we could collectively do together. Like the purpose of the swab really, and my vision for it, even though we're like, oh, y'all, like just pray for me because this organizing work can be draining. But like my vision really is that we collectively as a community figure out what each of our needs are and we band together and help out each other in different spaces and then invite people outside the borough to come visit and help. Like I got plans on people who out here doing tours from visits from other countries. Like, yeah, hey, come up and clean the whatever, come clean something, right? Instead of coming, taking pictures and gawking at folks like we're like a spectacle, come and add something to it. So like that's my vision, is to try to set up some sort of initiative like that. But that's more like long-term planning. So I completely agree that things that are not being disturbed or shaken up is absolutely a perfect place for a rodent to find their home. And illegal dumping is a really huge concern as well. So all of what y'all have said. Okay. And really quickly, finally, this is the last thing I'll say, and I'll put it in the chat. We're also having a bike tour coming up on the 20th. It's the day before the cleanup. And it's essentially we're offering beginners to come to. It's a zero waste barbecue at the end of it at Brook Park. But we'll be riding the bike around different locations in the Bronx to see different composting sites. Like you could come to the bike tour, you can come to the barbecue, you can do both, you can do one or the other, whatever feels good to you. But it is something that is a really, really big deal, and I'm super excited about Because outside of the Bronx swab, full transparency, I'm a part of a worker-owned cooperative where we collect and process organic waste locally. So we're really doing a lot of work right now in order to increase the local infrastructure in order to be able to process locally so that we don't have to export as much of our organic waste. Oh, you're muted.
So much you saw my mouth going, right? And nobody can hear me. Thank you. Anyone else have any question? I know we're excited about the Rat Academy. When is the date for the Rat Academy? Can I ask?
Yes, the date is going to be on the 22nd. So it's two Wednesdays.
June 22nd.
Yeah.
And what time?
5:30 to 7:30.
That's a lot of training for the rat. Rat is taking us over.
They are.
And it's going to be virtual, I mean, Zoom or?
Yeah, it's virtual.
Okay. Okay, good. So I guess we're going to get the link through to the board 11, or you would send it out? How?
I put it in the chat. I could also just respond to
Okay.
the email and make sure Jeffrey gets it.
Okay. All right. So I guess we will have to get that from Jeremy.
Jeremy, thank you.
Okay. All right.
I have a quick question statement, please.
Go right ahead.
Thank you so much. My only question statement is that we talk a lot about Rat Academy, but the academy that you need is People Academy, because the reason why we have so many rats is because people can't dispose of their trash properly. That's a person who founded a group that's been doing Park's job, doing weekly Monday cleanups for the last 5 years. Unfortunately, we had children who were actually clean the park, and later on, the adults destroy the park with their big gatherings. But after 5 years of doing outreach and cleanup events, the littering has decreased a little. I won't say much drastically, but the little difference has made a huge impact on the appearance of the greenway. But I think that they should be focusing actually in schools about children not littering and caring, loving their own block, because unfortunately, a lot of the issues that we're having here in this community is because the people cannot dispose of the trash properly, and the rats are doing what they're supposed to do by nature, collect our trash.
I completely agree with you. That's one of the things that we try to push back with sanitation is around the money that funding that they put behind education is always very low. So we're like, the programs are not going to be efficient if we're not giving the proper education. So that's why communities like ours kind of come out together. Like, again, we work with sanitation, like we're advocating for certain things. We have the Save Our Compost Coalition. I completely agree with you that education is the biggest thing in really teaching people to appreciate where they are. Like, I think one of the things that I tend to lead with is telling people, like, the Bronx is the greenest borough. Like, we're known for the trash because it was targeted and intentional with them citing our borough for waste transfer stations. It was a very inequitable practice. But all of that to say that we are also the greenest borough. We have the most park space than any other borough in the city. And that is something to be proud of. So I think that the more that we can kind of share the beauty of the Bronx and bring folks into it instead of this narrative of like dirty and rugged and like there's just there are things that our young people grow up with thinking about themselves and about their environment that we could be a part of shifting and influencing. So I also use hip hop to teach sustainability. It's another thing that I do. So there's a compost song that we have just to give you, and I'll put the link in the chat just to give you an example so you can see it for your own reference. But like that's how we use music and all those other kind of things to bring people into the conversation. So yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, and one of the thing I think about, we talk about sanitation, we talk about rats, we talk about cleanup, but it's like 4th of July and all these occasions when you have all these barbecues and stuff in the park,
Yes.
and then everybody just walk away and leave the
Yep.
mess.
Yep.
Who is behind them to make sure that if you're going to use this spot, you're responsible for cleanup, and
Yeah.
maybe get the information to say, okay, if you're going to have a cookout here, we have to have your information, because if the family and friends of yours do not clean up after, then you have to pay a fine. Then maybe people will take these things seriously. You're muted.
Yeah, it could get difficult just because of like the volume of it, but I think that's where it becomes an opportunity to make a connection with folks who are doing the barbecues on the day of, that's what really just has to happen. I think, to be quite honest, one of the the visions that we have is to go out into parks and offer folks, instead of them like grilling with the fire and the coal, to offer them the biogas stove so that they can cook outside with a controlled flame, because we have a biogas machine on site, and we can transfer the gas. So anyway, long-term visions, I'm sharing a lot with y'all, maybe too much, but all of that to say that I think that then becomes an outreach opportunity, so that for over summer we can say, hey y'all, let's get together and let's go do some outreach on a summer day that we know, folks are going to be out there, and we can, whether it's handing out flyers, having conversation with folks, offering them some support on what they think, asking them questions. What do you think will help you? What would make it easier for you in order to be able to fall in line with this behavior? We got to talk to each other, right? And then we got to be able to connect the institutions and the infrastructure to support what will help people to adjust into that behavior. But we're not talking enough to each other. We're just seeing it and just like making assumptions. But I think we got to get out there and talk to people and find out. And some people just genuinely just don't care. And so, you got to just get them in a different way.
Because Jeremy someone says, I just bought a home. What is that? Biogas?
Oh, you did Zero Waste Academy. Lovely.
Oh, wow. Just
Nice.
because
Jeremy, come on now. You need to be the representative coming. That is dope. That is great. Zero Waste Academy. We want to have folks from Zero Waste Academy come on the swab. That's like as much people as we can have, because, folks that go through Zero Waste Academy are very much grounded in a lot of the work that we do, and they really can understand like bigger picture. So I'm gonna just recommend that maybe, Jeremy, you come on over and be CB11's Bronx swab representative.
Okay. I love this. Information is the key. And as Diana says, or someone just said, that we have to educate. And when we talk about the youths in the school, we got to educate the older folks too. You see some people driving, and all of a sudden you're walking by and the windows go down and they throw something out on you, the garbage. So I guess I have to get into the biogas waste academy too, and all these waste academy, because I'm sure there's a lot of people around who don't know anything about what is the
Absolutely.
Zero Waste Academy. There's a lot of people who don't know anything about it.
So I
When you're
think,
thinking about the
I
bills,
think,
it's hard.
Go ahead,
I think,
Jeremy.
wants to be a member of SWAB. Does it have to be a board member? Because I know I had Averill and Christian both here who were definitely interested at one time on being on SWAB.
It would be
Yeah.
nice if it was a board member, because you have voting. And I think that that's like, when you come on the swab, you get a voting privilege. So it would be good to go back. I mean, there's first of all, they can still be a part of the swab without being the CB11 representative, right? Like, I still would encourage anybody to join. Anybody can join the swab. But as far as a community board representative, you're a community board representative. So that would mean that you would have to be a part of the actual board.
Okay.
Or else you would just be considered a swab member. And if you wanted to be a CB11 representative, it would probably be just informal.
Okay, something to think about, Jeremy. Very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, so is there anyone else have, oh, Diana, your hand is still up.
Yes, I have yet another question. If you could talk a little bit about how you work with sanitation and how you work with parks, because our struggle over here seems to be that there just are not enough trash receptacles on the streets and in the park, and that's why so much of the trash ends up just floating around, in the grass, on the curbs. And we ask Parks Department for more trash cans. We ask Sanitation for more trash cans, and they're so reluctant to give us more trash cans. For the parks Department started, first they gave us a huge supply of heavy duty trash bags. And last summer we would hand them out to people who were picnicking in the park, because nobody brought enough with them. And when they did bring their own trash bags, a lot of times they were just too flimsy for the weight of the trash. And I was a little apprehensive initially about, just walking up to people barbecuing and asking them, do you want another trash bag? But everybody accepted them. They were really glad to have them. And now this summer, the Parks Department themselves have started doing it. They're going around and offering more trash bags to all the picnickers, and it really, really helps because people do put their trash in the bags. They tie them up, they leave them in neat little piles. It really helps a huge amount, but we need more trash receptacles. And I also think that people don't know that you're not supposed to put personal household trash in a trash can that's available on the street. And I don't really understand why that has to be against the law. Because people end up just dumping their trash tied up in a little plastic bag just on the ground because they don't want to get cited for putting it in a trash can.
Yeah. So the way that we work with DSNY and Parks, that's always an annoying thing because DSNY will tell you one thing and then Parks will tell you another thing, and we'll be like, y'all are saying two different things and y'all keep sending us to each other, but like, will one of y'all take responsibility for one of these questions? So it can get really frustrating. I think DSNY we work closer with than Parks. With DSNY, we're just like we're brought into conversations. For example, we also work with New York State. They have this initiative, Recycle Right in New York. So we work with them as well. But with DSNY, it's just a matter of being a part of like stakeholder engagement meetings and kind of feedback and having them give presentations and following up with them on some of these same concerns that you're raising. And I think that that's kind of part of our goal as a SWAB and seeing what's happening. So for me, this is a recurring thing that I'm hearing all the time. It's like, we need more trash receptacles. We need more trash receptacles. We need more, like literally that is the issue. And you know, sometimes they'll say sponsor a trash receptacle and you service it and we'll just pick up the stuff. So that's part of it. That's a little difficult too, because then it puts the responsibility on local folks, but then you have other local store owners that are like, fine, no problem, put the trash receptacle and we'll do that and y'all just deliver bags or whatever. So that's one way of trying to take care of that. Now, if you're talking about in a Parks location, that really is a logistical thing around how they pick up. I don't know if it's an infrastructure thing, and there are grants. There's actually another one coming up around the corner, and I forgot about it. Shoot, it just popped up in my head. Oh my God, I completely ignored this RFP. But there's another one coming up that is supposed to be like, do you all have a bid in your board? Are there any bids in
We
Board
have
11?
a bid in Morris Park.
Okay, so basic
Road, which
White Plains Road as well.
Okay, so this one is actually, yeah, it's due June 24th. So basically it is this the same one? This looks like this is the state. Huh. Anyway, sorry. So there's I'll double check it, but basically there's a grant where that's a grant that could literally pay for this. Like, we're about to buy trash cans and you need to service them, right? Like, we could write for that kind of stuff. So what I would immediately say, because this thing is coming around the corner, is like, if you all have a connection with a bid, then we need to exchange information tonight, and then let's work on the proposal together and get y'all this in a particular location, and let's be able to identify it. So that, or if it's not working with the bid, I think you should work with the bid, but if it's not working with the bid, it would just have to be a community-based organization. So there is something that is coming around that is, there are dollars to put towards the infrastructure. Like, specifically, this money cannot go towards operational expenses. This is straight physical items to purchase. So, you know, if this is something that you all are like really like can put some energy behind, we can just put in a proposal to try to bid for this particular set of funding, and can move forward with Parks and DSNY and like make it happen. So it's really just a matter of what you all want to piece together. Again, the deadline's the 24th. So I'm talking about something very specific right now. As far as in general with DSNY and Parks, that's a conversation that we can continue to push things forward, have collective statements. When we have our SWAB meeting, say, hey, do we need to vote on something, and like push stuff, get our city council members involved, call them and say there's not enough trash cans. We can have a call action day where basically we all come together. There's like different ways of having actions around trying to move forward a particular action. But my immediate thoughts, just based on what you all have said, the June 24th thing is what just makes the most sense to me, as far as like, because usually sometimes they'll cry budget and it's like, okay, cool, don't worry about it. We got the budget coming. The money can come from here. So.
If I might, Ms. Francis, you could also put it in as a budget priority on budget priorities when the budget chair asks you about if you have any budget request. And it can be put at street level for sanitation and inside the parks for the Parks Department. Okay, so that can be done also as a form of budget chair. I know that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Press. And yeah, you deals with parks, so maybe there's a question I wanted to ask about something that's in the park. If you needed a stage or something like that, somebody you could talk to the youths. Are you someone that I can reach out to?
Absolutely, man.
Okay, good.
Listen, I rap with the young people. I have SYEP every single year. We go through stuff like, yes, I'm absolutely. They are my cup of tea.
Okay, thank you. And I definitely will be reaching out to you tomorrow.
Great.
Okay. All right. To everyone, I know we got a lot of information tonight. And is someone saying something?
Would the Bronx Swap young lady post her contact information, please, on the chat?
Yes.
Yes, that would make sense,
Yeah.
right? I will do that right now.
No problem. Thank you. Can everybody see it? Okay, the information is there as you asked, and your request was granted. Friends of Pelham Parkway.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'm going to take
All right.
that. Got that. Perfect.
Okay. I think we got a whole lot of information tonight, and I'm so excited. I don't know I could have been excited about hearing that I'm going to a rat academy. I went to the police academy, but I never thought I'll be here talking about a rat academy. But thank God that it's being taken care of, because I think everybody's complaining about rodents now. And that has never been a problem in the past the way it is now. So,
The pandemic
Diana,
shifted a lot of waste
oh,
that used to be commercial waste and was handled commercially. Now we have a whole lot more residential waste. So it has strained the system for sanitation. And what private carters used to take has now kind of fallen on DSNY a little bit more. So it kind of like put a lot of pressure. So they're doing their best. Like they're absolutely doing their best with what they have to work with. But there is definitely a strain on resources. And the system has just, and then the pandemic, everybody's now like ordering stuff more. So like it's just an uptick in so many different streams. It's almost overwhelming the system. That's why we gotta come up with some other things.
but it's amazing for you that you said that, because people are ordering stuff more. There was a time when they said we cut out the plastic bags, right? In the stores. Bring your own bags. But there's another way where more bags are coming around because of
Yep.
the
You
ordering.
change
So
one for the other, correct.
yes, absolutely. I think if that's it, we can thank you so much for your information. We're happy you came.
Thank you. I'm gonna look. I got you all's contact information. You have my email. I'm gonna send the link to the Rat Academy to the CB11 email now. I'm gonna respond to it and send it there. And I'll also put the link for the bike tour just so that you all have it. And then what I'll do is we'll stay connected and let's figure out who your CB11 representative can be. And then you all can come. Our next meeting for the Bronx Swab is actually on I want to say the 27th. I don't know where my phone is, but I believe, oh, there it is. Yeah, it should be on the 27th at 6:30. I put all these links in the chat and I didn't even put the link tree. So I'll put the link tree in there and you can sign up and register for the monthly meeting just to just so that you can stay abreast with what is going on and what it is that we're doing. If you want to pop in to a meeting, you're more than welcome to. It's open to the public. We have presentations. Every month we have a speaker that speaks to a different initiative. That's like surrounding waste. So yeah, I would love to see you all at our actual meeting, and we can continue to just grow and build it together. Thank you so much for like just taking the time to allow me to share with you some of the work that we're doing.
And thank you for being a part of this meeting and answering our questions and giving us information that I know myself was not aware of. And we appreciate you coming, and thank you.
Thank you so
for your
much.
time. Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
You too.
Okay.
Okay. So as we move along, everyone, I thank you, Pep, for taking the opportunity and the time to educate me, educate each other, and respect each other time. And right now we're going to move. Anyone else have any questions before? Anyone with any other questions? Before we call a motion, any old business?
If you voted on the
Jeremy?
minutes from January or March,
Yes. Okay. No, we did not. And we're doing that right now, so. I'm voting on the minutes for January and March, and as I indicated, it's on the site, right, Jeremy? For anyone who wants to.
yeah, it's on the website. I can pull it up if you want.
Yes.
You want me to pull it up?
Is everyone in agreement that they can read it on the site so they can get the full minutes? Anyone object to that? Okay, we don't have a problem, Jeremy.
Okay.
Okay, so would we go on to all minutes?
What's that?
All minutes?
So January and March?
Yeah. Well, we agree to go, to read on the website, the minutes that's on the website.
Okay, but does the committee approve them so to remove them currently in draft form, but
Mhm.
do they look good enough to be final form?
Yes. Junior? I don't know if he's here. Okay.
So do you want to make a motion then?
Yes. Let's make a motion.
Hello.
Hey, Junior. You're near you.
Okay.
Let me tell you the truth.
We can hear you, Junior.
Hello.
Junior, could you make a motion to? Seem like he has a lot of noise in his back, but I would. Can I do that by myself?
You can make the motion, but Junior should second it at least, and then you vote.
Okay. Junior, do you second? Can you hear us?
But I would just state clearly that you're making a motion to approve the January and March 2002 committee meeting minutes as they appear in draft form on the Community Board 11 website.
Okay. I make a motion, and Junior, do you second it? Can you hear me, Junior? You're muted.
He's unmuted now. Should
Do
be
you
able to talk.
second it, Junior?
I second it, Avril.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Assuming there's no abstentions or positions, it's unanimous, right?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so do we have any old minutes, Junior? I mean,
No.
okay. New minutes, new business.
Yes, I want to bring up your attention to a fire hydrant. I don't know if it's sanitation or DEP.
Go right ahead.
Yes, there's a fire hydrant what is being run 24/7 over by 1128 East Gunnell Road and Boston Road. It's the BP gas station. I reported it from last year for either DEP or the fire department to put a lock on it. They use it as a car wash. And what they do, everybody come there and they keep the hydrant running and they wash the cars with loud music and so much noise. I've been reporting this from last year that they need to put a lock on that fire hydrant. So the only person can open it is the fire department. And there's nothing being done with it. And I know I am a homeowner and I'm paying a lot of water bill, and that is a part of the problem.
And you say
So I'm
1128?
asking 1128 East Gunnell Road, BP gas station.
Okay.
But the fire hydrant is on Boston Road.
So the hydrant itself is at close to 1128 East Gunny Road?
Yes. The address for BP, it's both on Boston Road and Gunnell Road, but the address come on Gunnell Road, 1128 East Gunnell Road. But the fire hydrant is just beside the gas station on Boston Road.
Okay.
And this been reported over and over. I called 311. I reported over from last year. I've been having this problem with loud music, and people come there and wash the cars, and they leave the hydrant running, and it's a mess. So I'm asking that you pass this request either to DEP, I don't know who is in charge of that, or sanitation to have a lock on that fire hydrant.
Junior, isn't that a 311 concern?
Yeah, we'll follow up.
I
Follow up, Junior.
Yeah.
I
Jeremy,
called
Very follow
311
up.
and they said it's either DEP or the fire department. I don't know which one
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, I
I think
forget
it's
which
the
one
fire
it is.
department, because I did this last Thursday when we had all the storm and the rain, and then I saw one that was open, and I called, and the fire trucks came and they put it out.
Yes, they will. The fire truck will come when I call 311. They'll come by and they turn it off. But as they leave, they open back up the hydrant. What I'm
Okay.
asking for, I don't know if it's DEP or the fire department. They can put lock on them that is only the fire department can open it in case of a fire.
Yeah, we'll ask. We'll get it done.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy.
All right, thank you so much. And I think that concludes the night for us. I don't think if anyone else don't have anything else.
I had just one more item,
Okay.
which is that one of the many construction sites in our area, construction has ceased and it's kind of been abandoned. I think the construction company pulled out. There's a stop work order on it, and it's just been left vacant for months, to the point where waist-high weeds were growing up all around the perimeter on the sidewalk. The green construction wall is now covered with graffiti, and a section of it's falling down. So after a couple more storms, it's just going to be open. They had dug the foundation, and started putting in some of the foundation, like the rebar, at the point at which they then abandoned it. And what's happening now is that people are throwing trash over the wall into the construction area because they know, there's nobody coming around to stop them or clean it up. So we reported it to our city council person, Oswald Feliz, and I think, Jeremy, that I CC'd you on that email. So the city council person reached out to the Department of Buildings, Department of Environmental Protection, and Sanitation. Sanitation came by, they reported, and checked the perimeter, but sanitation can only take care of the perimeter. And meanwhile, a local resident was so fed up, he took his own lawnmower and mowed the weeds down. So I don't know. I guess we're doing the right thing. I don't really know what the procedure is for something like this. Can we file a complaint against the
building?
right, the construction company, the manager, the owner? I did check on the map and I found a name for someone who was identified as like an agent, and I called them and reached a person, and he would not tell me who the owner was, but he said he would relay the message that the community is very upset about the condition of this site. It's right next to a row of two-family homes, and some people think that the developer is just delaying until he can purchase, buy out the two-family homes and have a much larger site to work with. But we don't want this abandoned lot to be left there for years in this state of disrepair. So I don't really know exactly what more we can do. I mean, maybe we've done what we can do. And the councilman is looking into it, so that's good.
Okay, thank you. And I guess you will CC Jeremy in that.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Jeremy, do you know anything further? Do you have any further advice for us on what we can do about this?
Sorry, I had to step out for a little bit. What's going on?
Oh, the condition of the construction site that's kind of been abandoned, that has the stop work order on it.
Yeah, I mean, it can stay abandoned for years.
People are using it as a trash dump. The wall around it is about to fall down, so it's going to be open.
So,
There's
so that should be reported to 301. Has the wall been reported?
I reported everything to the city council person, to Oswald Feliz.
Yeah, you need
and
to.
they're in touch with the agencies about it.
Yeah, but okay, you can say that, but do you have proof? Did you email them? Did they respond?
Yeah, I
mean,
emailed them and they responded. Yeah, and they've reached out to all the agencies.
I think 311 is better for that potential wall fall. I
And
mean,
I
they
think-
may even tell you. They may even tell you it's a 911 call, but I would.
Right.
I would refuse. I would just say try to get it lodged with.
Yeah.
I would just try to get it lodged with 301.
Right, because the wall is going to fall down, and then there's an open pit inside the construction zone. They dug the foundation, and they put rebar spikes in it.
Yeah,
So,
I would report. I mean, if they transfer you to 911, then it's 911. But
Right.
It sounds like more of a 301 call.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I'm so sorry. I had my hand raised, but for some reason,
Okay,
I just wanted to mention this is Roxanne Delgado. I just want to mention to Junior, we had that issue regarding someone repeatedly having this hydrant open at full blast, and then not only is it's a waste of, unfortunately, a sad waste of water, but also it was addressing quality of life issue with people hanging out and not being at their best behavior. So we did 301 DEP put a lock on it. DEP puts the lock on it. That only gives access to DEP or fire department. But we did that through a 111, so I'm not sure why it's taking him a year, but I'm surprised Community Board 11 didn't follow up on that on his behalf since he's a board member. That's it.
Well, Junior, can you hear us? Okay. Junior, you're muted.
Avril.
Yes, okay,
Hello.
so you were muted, we didn't hear you. What we were saying, Roxanne said she had the same issue and she's surprised that no one helped you, but you never reach out to, this is your first time bringing the information to Board 11?
Yes, I think it's the first
Okay,
time I bring it to, but I bring it to 311, and
okay.
they respond and send out the fire truck, but they just turn it off, and after they leave, they turn it right back on. And the problem is they use it to wash the cars, and then they have very loud music across Boston Road to where I live. In my house, even the things I'm in my break front is rattling. How the
Well,
music is so high.
maybe I'll suggest too that you also go to the board, the community board meeting where you could voice your
No,
concern.
it's in our area.
Yes, I know. So that's why I said
I mean,
sometimes.
I heard it. I'll follow up. We'll follow up.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
there,
Jeremy will assist you with the
on
concern.
311, there's a specific link just to request a lock on the fire hydrant. Because there's there's 311 to report an open hydrant, but there's also 311 request to request a specific lock for a specific hydrant. I could put the link if you need it.
Okay. Thank you.
And so
Give it
I'll
to
post it.
Avril, and then I'll take it from there.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah,
Everyone,
okay.
Sir, I think
Yes.
you get a better response from 311 if you can report it online or in the app rather than just giving them a phone call. Because when you give them a
Okay.
phone call, then it's all on you. And you have to write down the number they give you, the complaint number. You have to remember the complaint number. You have to call back to follow up. But if you do it online and if you do it in the app, you can include a photo. They respond to you in the
really
app
doesn't make a
or
difference online.
online by email. So
The
you
same
have
thing
a
you post
record of their
online.
response.
The same thing you post online, the operator does the same thing. So it doesn't make a difference if you do online by phone. It's just that
Well,
you have
I'm
to
just
request
saying, in
a
my
lock
experience,
on a
it's
hydrant.
better to do it. It's
instead
better
of
to
a phone.
do it. It's better to do it through the app than it is to just do it by a phone call, because you get a record of your complaint and then you get a written response.
Understood.
We also would be following up, assisting you with that. And as you said,
Yeah,
you
I
called
posted
to
the link.
turn the water off, and maybe now you have to call to say you need a lock to put on there.
Correct.
Because
Exactly.
sometimes you got to be specific with
Exactly.
exactly what you're calling for.
Anyhow, I posted the
I,
link. It's the same thing. If you
Yes.
call or you do online, you just have to say, I'm requesting a lock, not reporting an open hydrant. I'm requesting a lock on a hydrant. That's all. Phone or
Yes.
email or link or online or app is all the same.
Okay. Thank
okay.
you so much. I think we have covered a lot tonight. It's 8:28 p.m. And I think Jeremy and myself, we thank you for your information that we receive, and from each and every one we learn, each one teach one. We thank you so much, and if there is nothing else, I would like to call the meeting to close. Anyone second it?
Second it, Jonah Campbell.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, and I look forward to our next meeting, and we'll definitely hear more from sanitation as much as possible, and DP and whatever agency falls under this meeting. We will do our best to make it as exciting and to empower ourselves. And Mr. Robert Press, thank you for some of your concern. We'll be following up. Thank you, and to everyone, have a pleasant night and be safe.
You too, Avril and Jeremy.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, Jeremy. Good night, Avril.
Good night.
Good night, Junior.
Good night.
Good night, Jeremy.
Okay.